Hello, my name's James Campbell. I'm a partner in the disputes practice at Allens, and I'm a founding member of the Bribery Prevention Network. In this session, we'll look at what regulators expect companies to do to mitigate bribery and corruption risks. Several international organisations, non-government organisations and enforcement agencies publish guidance on the steps that companies can take to mitigate bribery and corruption risks. Perhaps the most useful guide for Australian companies is the Commonwealth Attorney-General Department's draft guidance on adequate procedures to prevent the commission of foreign bribery. The draft guidance was published in November 2019 in anticipation of some significant changes to the Australian foreign bribery offence. Unfortunately, we're still waiting for those changes to take effect, but in the meantime, it's a very useful synthesis of the plethora of international material that's available. The first key takeaway from the guidance is that an anti-bribery and corruption compliance plan needs to be proportionate and it needs to be effective. Proportionality here means that the compliance system is tailored to the specific circumstances of the company. It's driven by a risk assessment. It must reflect the company's risk profile, its size, its geographic presence and its activities. Areas of higher risk will need more investment and more intensive controls. Areas of lower risk do not need the same level of investment. Effectiveness in this context means that the compliance system must be operationalised, including through the development of a robust culture of integrity, a clear pro-compliance tone from the top, a strong anti-bribery compliance function, effective risk assessment and due diligence procedures, and careful and proper use of third parties. That is, the anti-bribery compliance system must be a living, breathing thing. It can't just be a policy that sits on paper. It's important to note that these principles recognise that different companies face different circumstances. There really isn't a one-size-fits-all approach that can be adopted by all companies. For example, a small retail sector company operating in Australia will have a fairly low foreign bribery risk. It'll be able to mitigate its bribery risks through fairly generalised packages of controls. On the other hand, a slightly larger EPC sector company that has complex supply chains and operations throughout Southeast Asia will have a much higher risk profile and will need a much more stringent package of controls to manage its risk. A second key takeaway from the draft guidance is that there are 6 key elements of an ABC compliance system. The first of these is a risk assessment, and this is perhaps the most important. Companies need to assess their bribery risk profiles to really understand where they face risks in their business and to reassess those risks as circumstances change. The second is management dedication. Senior management, including the board, should play a critical role in developing, implementing and promoting the company's anti-bribery policies and procedures. The third is due diligence. Companies should apply comprehensive due diligence procedures before entering into new business transactions and relationships. The fourth is communication and training. Policies should be communicated and accessible to all employees. And in addition, there needs to be targeted and effective communication and training, especially to those whose functions expose them to a greater bribery risk. The fifth is confidential reporting and investigation. Companies should adopt effective confidential reporting systems that allow concerns about bribery risks to be reported and investigated. And finally, there needs to be regular monitoring and review of anti-bribery policies and procedures. These reviews should happen frequently, and most critically, there should be adjustments to the anti-bribery policies and procedures that actually respond to the findings of these reviews. We'll drill down into each of these elements through the remainder of this series. As a final general comment, I'd like to emphasise that there are business benefits to maintaining a strong anti-bribery and corruption compliance system. This isn't just about complying with the letter of the law. Some of the benefits include promoting trust and confidence both within the company and with external business partners. Secondly, companies can ensure that the early detection of bribery risks means that issues can be addressed before they've caused legal and reputational impacts. It improves the management of the company's financial circumstances and its funds. It makes the company an attractive and a safe business partner for other reputable companies to deal with. And finally, it helps to promote a culture of transparency in the company with its suppliers and with its other business partners. So the key takeaways are that an anti-bribery and corruption compliance program must be proportionate and effective, and that there are these 6 defined key elements that need to be considered in assessing an anti-bribery and corruption compliance program. In the next session, we're going to look at the first of those elements, risk assessments. Thank you.